Okay, so let's talk about that first pillar, and that's property protection. Okay, without the property, you and I are both not in business, so we need to keep the property protected. Some co-hosts think that the guest is the number one thing, and if you're a guest that's watching this, I'm sorry, but you are very important to us. But we need to make sure that we have a property that you can rent. Okay, so protecting the property, and this is done in a lot of different ways. It's done by making sure that we have good, high quality guests staying in our property. It's ensured by that we have a spotless, beautifully cleaned property, that every little corner is, not that it has to be a deep cleaning every time, but deep cleaning should be happening, especially after long-term guests or medium-term guests. But every little corner, every little thing should be meticulously cleaned. And that's what we're looking for. And once you stay on top of that, then it's easy between guests. The housekeeper should be having no problem because the property is kept so clean, and that will really, most times, the guests see a clean property and they keep a clean property. If they come into a property with even just a little bit, okay, let's talk about a stain, one of those watermarks from a cup that happens on wood, like maybe there's at the side table. Sometimes we can't even get those out. Okay, so we'll clean it, but it's soaked into the wood. In that case, we'll have to either refinish it or get a new piece, because if a guest comes in and sees that, even though it's clean, they will think it's not clean, and then there could be some potential problems there or some complaints there. So protecting the property is done in a lot of different ways. It's also done in a high level of maintenance being done on the property. All the light bulbs should be working. The hot water heaters should be well maintained. The air conditionings should be serviced at least every 6 months with a professional person who comes in and cleans both the inside unit and the outside unit. All the filters should be cleaned. The filter in the vacuum cleaner, the filter in the dishwasher, the shower drain. Between every guest, that shower drain should be clean. And some of them are hidden shower drains that you have to lift up and then clean underneath it. And your housekeeper should know that. So really, when it comes down to protecting the property, it is making sure that the property is great, and that we're protecting really the experience of the guests. So they're going to have a great experience. That there's nothing broken, nothing out of place, and then also that the housekeeper is coming in and doing all the things possible, as well as our maintenance team, to make sure that the property is in top-notch condition. If something is wrong in the property, and this has been proven by psychologists, it's called the broken window philosophy. And if they see one thing wrong, then they will assume that that we're not taking care of the property very well, and they might add to that problem, like, well, there's a big scratch on the sofa, and so I don't have to worry about taking care of the sofa because the sofa's already scratched, or this or that. So that's why the property should be in 100% condition between guests. And if something is wrong, then we get that replaced, or we get it repaired, or we get it fixed, whatever it takes to make sure that property is 100% between the guests, so everybody checking in is getting that great experience. Another thing under protecting the property is that every property is monitored by what's called a minute monitor. It's MINUT, okay, and it's made for monitoring Airbnb properties, and it measures a lot of things. It measures sound levels. It has a decibel meter in it. It does not have a microphone, so it does not record. It's completely privacy compliant. It doesn't record voices, but it does have a decibel meter to say how loud things are happening in the property. It measures humidity, it measures movement, it measures temperature. It knows all those things. It actually can tell how big a crowd is that's in there by a bunch of different techniques that it uses. So every property has that. So we can see very easily when a property is empty, when the people have checked in, and what the temperature they have things set at, what the humidity levels are, if there's a risk of mold, and these type of things. So this is really to protect the guests. It protects us. Like, let's say a neighbor complains to us and saying, hey, your guests were like partying until 3 a.m. It was so loud, it was so bad. We can just go back and check the logs, and we can see that it was silent in our apartment, all through the night. And we can just say, no, it wasn't our guests, because we have proof right here that the property was quiet at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's what it's on protecting the guests. Now, as far as protecting us and protecting the host, we know when it's occupied and those type of things. So let's say the property is supposed to be vacant, but suddenly we get an alert that someone is in the property, and then we're like, okay, what's going on? And then, oh, it's just the air conditioning guys have come to do maintenance or whatever. But it's just one of those ways of protecting it. It's we tell every guest, it's in the description, that we use this monitor thing. And again, there's no privacy issues being broken here, nothing. There's no cameras on it, there's no microphones, but it's there to keep the guests safe and to keep the hosts and the property safe.